Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So friends, as usual, I am going to share another interesting story. So please stay connected until it ends. So without further delay, let's start. Long time ago, there used to be live a girl named Susie in the village called Iskela. In the village called Iskena. She used to live with her brother named Stephen, and both of them were very affectionate about each other. They used to live with their stepmother named Shelley and stepsister named Stella. Stella and her Stella and stepmother used to treat them very badly, and Susie and Stephen were worried about that. What can they do against their stepmother? But they were unable to do so anything. She used to Sally used to make them to do all the household chores, and she and her sister used to take rest in the house whole day. And Sally one day whenever Sally was doing some kinds of black magic with the help of a crystal ball in her room, then she called Susie and says to Susie, Susie, hey Susie, where are you? Quickly bring me a cup of milk right now. Then Susie says to stepmother, yes, mother. Yes, my dear mother. I am bringing in a while. Then she then she brought a cup of milk to her stepmother. Then Sally says to Susie, you you keep cup here and go away from here right now. Then Susie comes out of the room, and she sat on the courtyard alone. Then suddenly her brother came up to Susie and says to Susie, hey Susie, my dear sister, what are you doing here alone? What happened? Then Susie says to Stephen, you are asking in such a way like you don't know anything. Why our mother behaves us like we are no one to her, and she makes me to do all the household chores. And Stephen was also tired to doing working all long day, and they were worried, but they were unable to do so anything against her stepmother. In this way, lots of time passed. One day, Stephen and Susie planned to escape the house, and and in the evening, they escaped the house and they were going towards the forest. After a long time, they reached in the dense forest, and because of the night, because of the midnight, they sat under a tree and they slept there. Then, then in, in the midnight, Sally says to Susie, Susie, where are you? Bring me a cup of tea. Then, then after, then after some time, after some time, when she did not find any when she did not find any response, then once again she called Susie. And Susie, where are you? Why are you not listening to me nowadays? Then after again, whenever she did not find any response, then she went 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 to meet Susie, and she started finding Susie and Stephen everywhere, but she did not find anywhere to Susie and Stephen. Then she comes near her room and she applies some kinds of black magic on the crystal ball, and with the help of magical ball she sees Susie and Stephen in the dense forest, and they were resting under a tree. Then she feels happy and he says, thank God they escaped and ran away from here. I was also tired of both of them. Now I will live here freely and with my daughter. So so she then after she applies she applied some kinds of black magic on the on the on the pond which was in the dense that forest where Susie and Stephen was resting, and she says whenever they were drink the water of that pond, then they will become wild animal, ha ha ha. And then she feels happy, and she go to sleep. Next morning, when Susie and Stephen woke up, then they started again. Then they started going somewhere again. After walking some distance, Stephen feels thirsty, and he says, "My dear sister, I am feeling very thirsty. If you don't mind, then can I drink water from this pond?" And Susie says to brother, "Yes, my dear brother, you can drink water from this pond." As soon as Stephen started drinking, touches water, pond says, the water of pond says to Stephen, "Listen, kid, I know you are thirsty, but whenever you will drink this water, then you will become wild animal. Please don't drink this water." Then Sui says to Stephen, "Yes, my dear brother, don't drink this water. We will find water somewhere else." Then, without drinking water, they started again walking towards again dense forest. But again, after some time, after walking some distance, Stephen again feels thirsty, and he was not able to control his thirst. Then after some time, he heard uh, sound of water. Then, following the voice, they reached near a river. Then again, then Stephen drank water from river. But after some time, he became a deer, wild animal deer. And after becoming a deer, he feels very bad, and he was very sad. Then Susie says to Stephen, "I had told you that don't drink water from this river, but you never listened to me. Now be careful. Be careful. There are so many scary wild animals in this forest, okay? And don't go anywhere without me. Follow me." Then, after walking some distance, they reached in another dense forest, and they saw there was a hut, a old hut, and inside the hut there was all the necessary livelihood ingredients were available. And they find a blanket there. They cleaned it, and they slept on the blanket, and they started living together in the hut. Susie used to go outside of the forest to bring fresh grass for his brother, and he used to collect some fruits and some food for herself. In this way, Stephen used to live alone in the hut. In this way, lots of time passed. Susie says to Stephen, "Don't go anywhere without me, okay? Whenever you will go outside of the palace, outside of the hut, then what if some animal attacks on you?" Then, in this way, Stephen used to live alone in the house, in the hut. But after living long day in the hut, he was tired, and one day he says to Susie, "Susie, I am tired of living in this hut. I want to roam outside. If you don't mind, then please can I go for some time? I will come soon, and when I'll come, I'll call your name thrice. Only then you will open door, okay?" Then Susie says to Stephen, "Okay, I'll open the door only when you will call my name thrice." And then Stephen went outside of the hut and started roaming here and there. His body was shining like diamond, and he drank water, and he was grazing on the field. But suddenly the king of forest came for hunt, but he did not find anywhere. But in the evening, after a long time, he sees the same deer, and he started following the deer, but deer was returning in his hut. Then after reach near the door, he called Susie, and he says, "Dear sister, open the door. Dear sister, open the door. Dear sister, open the door." After listening her name thrice, Susie opens the door, and Stephen Stephen goes inside hut, and then Susie closes the door. King was noticing everything hiding behind the tree. And next day, rain king of forest name was Richard. He went near the hut and called like Stephen, and he says, "Dear sister, open the door. Dear sister, open the door. Dear sister, open the door." After listening her voice, Susie opens the door, and she sees a handsome prince in front of her. They were looking each other, and they could not control to looking each other. They liked each other. Then Richard says to King says to Prince says to Susie, hey, what's your name, and what are you doing here alone, and what are you doing with deer? Then Susie explained that Susie told him to complete situation what was happened before. Then Prince Richard says to Susie, if you don't mind, then please will you marry me? I like you a lot. It doesn't matter what was your condition. Then Susie says to Prince Richard, let me consult from my brother. And in the evening, when Stephen came, then Susie explained everything to Stephen. Stephen was very happy. Susie and Stephen both were very happy, and they told to king, okay my dear king, we will come your palace tomorrow, okay? And next day they reached in the palace. Prince Richard welcomes beautifully and bring them inside the palace. And after some time, Susie and Prince Richard got married, and they started living happily in the palace. And Stephen used to live in the garden which was in the palace, and he used to gardening there. One day, her stepmother Shelly thinks, let me see where Stephen and Susie are. Then she applied some kinds of black magic on the crystal ball, and she sees Susie like princess, and she is with the prince, and she is very happy. And Stephen in the garden, and he is gardening grass. After watching all of this, she became very furious. She became very angry, so she broke her crystal ball, and she leaves the house with her Stella. After some time, they reached in the palace, and then she sees Susie is resting in the palace like princess. Then she applies some kinds of magical black magic on Susie, and she makes Susie like maid, and she makes Stella to princess, and she left the Susie in the dense forest, and now they were started living in the palace. One day, when Stephen goes near to princess, then princess denied to recognize her brother, and he says, "Who? What are you doing in this my? What are you doing in my room? And how did you come this here in? How did you come in my room? Royal guards, please come. And how did this deer come in my room? Throw, throw in the throw out of the palace." Then all the royal guards throw throw deer out of the palace. Then deer started crying, and he thought, today why my sister is denied to recognize me. Then then again he comes near then again he comes near comes outside of the queen's room, and he was listening the conversation, and he was peeping outside of the window, and he saw inside the room the place of his sister. He saw there was her stepsister and stepmother in the room, and they are leaving a place of his sister. Then he feels very bad, and he comes out of the palace, and he started he started looking her sister in the dense forest. But he did not find anywhere. He was tired, but after some time he saw a saint who was meditating under a tree. Then he goes near to saint, and he says to saint, "My dear saint, please can you help me? My sister is lost in this dense forest, and my stepmother did all this. Now I am worried. How can I find my sister? Please help me." Then saint says to deer, okay, you will find your sister in this direction. Then Stephen explained whole situation in front of saint, and he says, my stepmother and stepsister came in the palace, and they are living like princess, and they left my sister in this dense forest. Please help me to find. Then saint says to deer, you will find your sister in this direction, and here is a miraculous water. And he ties a pot in on the deer's neck, and he says, whenever you will splashes this water on your stepmother, then her all magical powers will left. Okay, keep remember this. Okay. Then Stephen became very happy, and after some time he started following the same direction, and after some time he finds his sister who was resting under a tree. Then he goes near to his sister and says to sister, my dear sister, you are here. I was finding I was searching for so long, and finally I found here. Now let's go in the palace. My stepmother and our stepmother and stepsister are living in the palace. Let's go and meet the prince. And both of them reached in the palace, and both of and Suji was dressed up like normal maid. Then she called Prince and he says, Prince, I am here, I am back. Then Prince says to Susie, what are you doing with this dress? And where were you? Then she complains everything in front of king. Then king became so angry and he says, call the all royal guards. And uh, and they try to kill the queen. Now I will punish them. Then whenever stepmother finds this news, she comes herself. Then she comes in her true self. And uh, and now everyone was together: Susie, Stefan, King, Queen, Stella, Shelley. Then then Sally says to King, so you want to kill me? No one can kill me in this world. And she started chanting some kinds of magic mantra. Then uh, then suddenly Susie takes out of miraculous water, and she sprinkles water on her. Then her all magical power go away from her, and then she became very furious and angry. And he say, and but she was unable to do so, because her all magical power were left away from her. Then king put them in a prison. And now king, queen, and Stephen, everyone was living started happily in the palace. And Stephen also comes in her real self, because her because his stepmother's all magical power were left. So friends, this was the story which I shared. So we can learn from this story, we should never take anyone's place. We should always do good deeds. I'll meet you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.